She scrubbed their floors. She raised their children. She knew every corner of that mansion better than her own small room. But on one ordinary Tuesday morning, something happened that would shatter the illusion of the perfect family she worked for. What started as a simple request turned into a moment so brutal, so unthinkable, that even the security cameras seemed to look away. This isn't just a story about one maid and one billionaire. This is about power, silence, and what happens when someone finally refuses to stay quiet. Her name is Maria, and this is the day everything changed. Maria had worked for the Harrington family for 7 years. 7 years of waking up at 5 a.m. She cleaned their marble floors, prepared their meals, and cared for their 2 young children like they were her own. To the outside world, the Harringtons were perfect, philanthropists, business leaders, the kind of family you see in luxury magazines. And Maria? She was invisible. But she didn't mind. Not really. The pay was better than most housekeeping jobs, and Mrs. Harrington rarely raised her voice. Mr. Harrington, though, he was different. He had a way of looking through people, especially people like Maria. She'd learned early on to keep her head down, to work quietly, and to never, ever ask questions. Still, there were small moments of kindness. The children would hug her before school. Mrs. Harrington once gave her a coat she no longer wore. Maria told herself it was enough. She sent money home to her mother in Honduras every month, saved a little for herself, and dreamed of one day opening a small restaurant. That Tuesday started like any other. She arrived early, tied her hair back, and began preparing breakfast. The house was silent except for the hum of the coffee machine. Mr. Harrington came downstairs first, earlier than usual. He didn't greet her. He just stood in the doorway of the kitchen, staring. Maria felt it immediately. That shift in the air. Something was wrong. She turned, smiled politely, and asked if he needed anything. He didn't answer. Instead, he walked closer. Too close. And then he said something so cold, so cutting, that her hands froze over the cutting board. What happened next would shatter everything. "What did you just say to me?" Mr. Harrington's voice wasn't loud. It was worse than that. It was icy, controlled, the kind of tone that made Maria's chest tighten. She stammered, trying to explain that she'd only asked if he wanted his coffee now or after his shower. A simple question, an innocent question, but his face drakened. "You don't get to question me in my own house," he said, stepping even closer. "You're here to work. Don't think about it." Maria's heart raced. She'd heard him speak harshly to employees before, delivery drivers, gardeners, contractors, but never to her. Not like this. She nodded quickly, apologized, and turned back to Cunter, her hands trembling as she reached for the eggs. That's when she made the mistake. She knocked over a glass. It shattered across the pristine marble floor, pieces scattering like tiny explosions. For a second, the world went silent. Then she heard it, the sharp intake of his breath, the shift in his posture. "Are you kidding me?" His voice rose now, filling the kitchen. "Do you have any idea how much that cost? Do you even care?" "I'm so sorry, Mr. Harrington. I'll clean it right." "You'll clean it? You think that fixes it?" He was shouting now, his face red, veins bulging in his neck. "This is why people like you don't get anywhere. No respect." She wanted to respond, to defend herself, but fear rooted her in place. She knelt down, hands shaking as she began picking up the shards of glass. That's when he grabbed her, his hand clamped around her arm, hard, bruising. She gasped, dropping the glass pieces as he yanked her upward. "Look at me when I'm talking to you," he hissed, his grip tightening. Maria's eyes filled with tears. Not from pain, but from humiliation. From a rage she couldn't express. "Please," she whispered. "You're hurting me." He didn't let go. Instead, he leaned in close, his breath hot against her face. "You should be grateful you even have this job. There are 100 women who would kill to be where you are." Then came the part no one could have predicted. Mrs. Harrington appeared in the doorway, perfectly dressed, coffee cup in hand. She saw everything, her husband's grip on Maria's arm, the tears streaming down Maria's face, the shattered glass on the floor. And she said nothing. She just sipped her coffee, turned on her heel, and walked away. That's when Maria realized the truth. She wasn't just fighting one person. She was fighting a system, a family, a world that had decided long ago that she didn't matter, a world that had decided long ago that she didn't matter. But what Mr. Harrington didn't know, what none of them knew, was that Maria had already made a decision. She wasn't going to stay silent anymore, not this time. Maria pulled her arm free. The sudden movement caught Mr. Harrington off guard. For a split second, his expression shifted, from rage to something else. Surprise. Maybe even a flicker of fear. No one had pulled away from him before. "Don't you dare touch me again," Maria said. Her voice cracked, but the same words came out from clear 7 years of silence breaking all at once. His face twisted. "What did you just say?" "I said, don't touch me." "Louder, no. Stronger." That's when he lost it completely. He lunged forward, grabbing a fistful of her hair at the back of her head. Maria screamed as he yanked her toward him, her scalp burning with pain. She clawed at his hands, but his grip only tightened. He dragged her across the kitchen floor, past the shattered glass, past the marble island, toward the service entrance like she was nothing, like she was garbage to be thrown out. "You want to disrespect me in my own house?" he snarled, pulling harder. "You're done. You're finished." Maria's knees scraped against the tile, her vision blurred with tears. But through the pain, through the humiliation, something inside her refused to break. She twisted her body, reaching for the countertop, for anything to stop him. And that's when she saw it. The security camera in the corner, the small red light, blinking. It was recording everything. Mr. Harrington didn't notice. He was too consumed by his own fury, too certain of his power. He shoved her toward the door, finally releasing her hair. Maria collapsed against the wall, gasping, trembling. "Get out!" he spat. "And if you ever come back here, I'll make sure you never work in this city again." Maria looked up at him. This man who had controlled her life for 7 years. And for the first time, she smiled. Because she knew something he didn't. The truth was already recorded. And soon, the whole world would see it. Maria didn't go home that day. She went straight to a lawyer. Within 48 hours, the security footage was everywhere. Major news outlets, social media, millions and millions of views. The video showed everything. Mr. Harrington's grip on her arm, the way he dragged her by her hair across that pristine kitchen floor, and the cold indifference on Mrs. Harrington's face as she simply walked away. The public outrage was immediate and overwhelming. The Harringtons tried to control the narrative. They released a statement calling it a misunderstanding, claiming Maria had been let go for performance issues. But the video didn't lie. And neither did the other former employees who began coming forward, stories of abuse, degradation, and racism that had been buried for years. Mr. Harrington lost his board positions. Their philanthropic foundation faced investigation. Sponsor pulled out. The perfect family America had admired crumbled under the weight of their own cruelty. And Maria? She turned into something no one saw coming. A symbol. Fame. Nah, that wasn't her thing. She didn't want to be just another hashtag. All she really wanted was her dignity. But guess what? Her courage ignited something way bigger. Domestic workers across the country are sharing their stories, demanding respect and recognition as real people, not just invisible helpers. Maria used her settlement to finally open her dream restaurant, hiring immigrants and single moms who've been told they're worthless. She pays them fairly. She treats them with respect. She gives them what the Harringtons never could: dignity. But here's what stays with me about Maria's story. It took 7 years of abuse. It took being dragged across a floor. It took a security camera happening to catch the truth. How many Marias are out there right now suffering in silence? How many stories will never be recorded? How many people are still invisible? Maria's courage changed her life, but the real question is, will it change ours? Because the Harringtons of the world are still out there, and they're counting on our silence.